the past 30 years. Now they're going to be celebrating 30 years of existence. And I'm not alone to discuss this. I have the Chief Executive Officer, the CEO of the Capital Markets Authority, Madam Josephine Okwi-Osia. Hope I pronounced the names right.
Correct.
Good morning. A pleasure having you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Now, to begin with, when we talk about the Capital Markets Authority, what is this for a person who is hearing of it for the first time, but also has been hearing of it, but not well versed with the actual roles and responsibilities?
So the Capital Markets Authority was formed through an Act of Parliament in 1996, and hence why we are celebrating 30 years this year. But our mandate is really to develop the capital markets and to regulate the capital markets, to make sure that it is efficient, fair, and transparent for anyone who comes to operate within the capital markets. And really the role for us is to help the country also raise what we call long-term capital, because we know that there's a lot of short-term capital everywhere, but long-term capital, if you want to get long-term capital that lasts for 10 years or plus, you come to the capital markets. And maybe just to break it down, so a capital markets is really a place where people with money and those who are looking for money meet. So the people who have the money will give the money to so that will be the investor, gives the money to a business or government to use that money for their purposes, and then they earn a return on that. Yes. So it's like a market for money.
So a rich person like me, I go on my account, I remove some monies, I give them to the Capital Markets Authority.
You give it to the people who are playing in the capital markets. For us, we're a regulator. Yes. So the people who you will give the money to are predominantly known as issuers, and their businesses. So either business or government of Uganda or governments that do that. So you'll give your money, say, to government. They will use it for whatever they want to use it, development, roads, infrastructure, pay salaries, but you earn a return on it. Yes.
Oh, that is a very good way. My money makes money for me even when I'm sleeping.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Now, that said, you're celebrating 30 years of existence.
Yes.
What are some of those milestones that you're going to be celebrating, or you're proud of as Capital Markets Authority?
So far, since our inceptions, we've had 11 listed companies, and of which, and then 88 cross-listed companies. But of those that are listed, our market capitalization, which I would say the value of the companies, is about 22.3 trillion. And those companies have been able to raise 2.3 trillion Uganda shillings through the capital markets. There are also companies that have been able to raise what we call through corporate bonds, that is debt. So they've also borrowed from the public. They've been able to raise 298 billion shillings. But in addition to that, the collective investment schemes currently are sitting at about 7 trillion shillings. Also fund managers who hold what we call as segregated funds, not necessarily in the collective investment schemes, but they are also another product. They are holding about 7.5 trillion shillings. We have the people who, we have about 280 SCD accounts. Those are guys who are participating in the capital markets, and the CIS accounts at about 241,000 accounts. But we've also been able to raise money through private equity. And private equity has been able to raise about $800 million through private equity. And all this has gone into development, it has gone into various businesses. But I think also in terms of achievement, we have encouraged innovation. And so far, we opened a regulatory sandbox about 1 year ago. We have 13 applications of people who want to enter the regulatory sandbox, and we've admitted 3. So a regulatory sandbox is where we encourage people to innovate. So you bring your product, we study it with you before you roll it out into the market. Because one of our key mandates is to protect investors. So these are innovative products that we have not known before. And so we need to study them. But you see, there's a lot of appetite for that. So we are also seeing a lot of innovators coming in with new products. So far, we've admitted 3. So yeah, that's what we have been able to achieve through the years. And government, maybe government will probably the one that chooses the capital markets the most, the stock or the debt so far that government is holding that they've not yet repaid is about 50 trillion shillings that they've been able to raise through the capital markets. And last year alone, they were able to raise 11 trillion shillings to finance the budget. Yeah.
Quite interesting. Now, 30 years, what have you lined up in celebrations? I don't want to miss cake.
Oh, so there's a lot of activities that we've lined up in terms of for the celebrations. So firstly, we are doing expanded public education. People need to know about capital markets. And for them to be able to participate in the capital markets, they need to understand what capital markets is about. So we have really ramped up our public education, and this is one of such activities. We are also into schools, we are also into traders, people in Chikubo, and all those places. We are trying to tell them that capital markets is not for an exclusive class. It's
That's
for
what
anybody.
many think.
That's what many think, yes, but right now, even with as little as 10,000 shillings, you can join a collective investment scheme and start saving. And saving and investment is really not about how much money you own, but it's about discipline. If you're disciplined and you start saving over time, you see your money grow. We are also planning to have a symposium, which will, so the climax will be a symposium on October 8th, as well as a collective, as long as what we call the CMA Awards, for those who've been able to support us in the 30 years. Maybe one of the other things I forgot to mention is so far we have 173 licensed persons and approved persons. So yeah, the markets are growing, and the public education that we have been doing, we are starting to reap some results out of it. Yes.
Now you as the regulator, something that comes in, of course you've mentioned a lot of achievements and how you intend to celebrate these 30 years, but you talked of people in Chikubo, just as an example.
Yes.
Not to think that capital markets are for a certain class of people. I want you to emphasize this are really capital markets for every for every Ugandan, because I look at people in the informal sector. Some have a lot of money, by the way, in the informal sector. When a person tells you that you see this timber you're seeing here, one time I went to Ndeba. I don't know if you know that place.
Yes, I do.
And I was looking at timber, so the person, no, here I'm having 500 million, having $1 billion, and I looked at this person. But when we made the calculations indeed, so they have capital that they play around with, and maybe this could be one of the venture. How are you attracting? How do we remove this from being a thing of the land, people in government, the corporate world, some outside Uganda, to everybody, for everybody?
So that's why, as I said, predominantly, previously, you had the products in the capital markets were either shares or bonds. But then, during the years, we introduced collective investment schemes. So collective investment schemes means you don't have to have a lot of money. So you and me can pool our money and invest it. And that's why I said that as little as 10,000 shillings, you're going to be able to invest in the capital markets. So these are some of the products that the people in the market, so for example, if you made your small profit, instead of just keeping it in the suitcase, put it in a collective investment scheme and let it earn money. Another way you can use collective investment schemes, for example, is we know that school fees comes every 3 months. As you're keeping that money, keep putting that money in a collective investment. It's also earning money, but you're keeping it away for a later use. You can use them to put money aside for weddings. You can use it for school fees. You can use it if you want to, whatever project you have, as a point where you're keeping the money away, but it's also earning money. And the thing is that the rates in the collective investment schemes are slightly higher than what you'd get in a bank account. So currently, a bank account savings, you probably get maybe 3%, 4%, 5%. But collective investment schemes, you're now going to earn at about 10%, 11%. So you get a better return. And therefore, that's when we say that the capital markets now are for everyone. Umuntu wa bulijjo can participate. It's not like you need $1 million shillings or 10 million to participate. There are different products that cater for everybody. And then also we do have a program where we call the Deal Flow Facility, where we are trying to support SMEs. So what we do, we get an SME, we match it with an investor. Yeah? Prepare that SME to become investor attractive, match them with investors, and then they get money. So far, we've been able to raise $11 million through that form. But I think the most important thing is formalization. Investors like businesses that are formalized. And you know that government has been talking about formalizing the economy. So I think once you're that would be one incentive to get formalized. You start getting attractive. People would like to invest. Yeah.
Now, that is very interesting, the issue of formalization. Many businesses, if you talk about registration, they say, Chirabo, now they didn't know me and I'm working. They know me, they begin taxing me. That I will not do. But if you want to benefit from the products that the CEO of Capital Markets Authority has just talked about, you need to have formalized your business. Now, how does one report scammers, fraudsters, to Capital Markets Authority? Because believe you me, Ugandans are crafty people. We are very smart at times. We have a portion of us who will know how things work, venture in, and then within a short time you'll hear people were scammed.
Yes, we hear these stories every day. And maybe let me first start by telling you what are the red flags for a scam. Firstly, they will come with you and they will promise you exorbitant returns. Things like you'll make 30% in a month. Then you should ask yourself, what kind of business is that that is giving you 30% in a month? The returns are exorbitantly high. Secondly, they won't explain to you exactly how they are going to make that money. Yeah. Thirdly, they'll put you on pressure. They will tell you, you see, everybody has invested, you're the only one who's left. If you delay, you're going to miss. Pressure. And you see, so all these things, and the third thing that most of the time they are not registered or licensed by Capital Markets Authority. So the first thing they should always ask is, are you licensed by Capital Markets Authority? If they are not, that's a red flag already. And you can find out who is licensed by calling our toll-free line, which is 0800 100 031. I will repeat that again. Our toll-free line is 0800 100 031. So you call that toll-free line, they'll be able to tell you which are the licensed persons that you can deal with. We also have a website of www.cma.co.ug where you can also check who are the licensed persons at that. You can also call our landlines, and our line is 0312 264 950/1. So you call and would be able to respond. We also have social media pages on X, on Instagram, on TikTok. You just put a message there, we'll be able to respond to you on these are the people you can deal with. Deal with only licensed persons. Yeah.
So I'll just ask a question similar to that. How can one access investment products in Uganda's capital markets?
So there are different market intermediaries, as we call them. So we have brokers, but we also have fund managers. So for example, if you're interested in buying shares, you can speak to the brokers. Those are the brokers, and they will work with the Uganda Securities Exchange, or Alltex Exchange, East Africa, Alltex East Africa Exchange. So we have two exchanges. So you get in touch with the exchanges, and they also have brokers that they work with. But also, if you want to participate in the collective investment schemes, then you get in touch with a fund manager. Fund managers are professionals that run these schemes, and they are licensed, and we supervise them. So you get in touch with a fund manager, and they'll be able to tell you how you can participate. You can also get in touch with your bank, because we have dealers who are licensed in those banks, who are able to tell you also that, for example, if you want to participate in the treasury bills and bonds, they'll also be able to advise you how you can participate. Yeah.
Very clear now, I think, to many Ugandans. At the bank level, I know for many people it's very possible. You go to your customer care in that bank, ask the customer care desk or center, and well, I want to venture into capital markets. Instead of keeping my huge monies here, and then I get little interest, where there is bigger interest. Why not do that? Now, going back to the 30 days, the 30 years celebration, do we have a climax of it? Is there going to be where we are going to gather and have, I don't want to miss cake, so my invitation should come very fast. I haven't received it as of yet, you know, and celebrate. So
there's going to be a climax, but before I come to the climax, I forgot to mention that we are an agriculture country, and the Uganda Securities Exchange is piloting what we call a commodities exchange as well. So that means we are going to be able to sell our produce through the Uganda Securities Commodities Exchange. And so I think that's something that is important. They are piloting it. Right now they are dealing with grain, which is maize, beans, soya, rice. That's what they've started to pilot with. But that commodities exchange is going to grow to even be able to cover things like rare minerals like gold and oil. So that is another innovation that is coming up on that side. But going to the 30-year celebrations, so we have a climax on 8th October, just before independence, the day before independence. We will be at Serena, and we are going to celebrate. That's where we're going, on that day we are going to have the symposium and the CMA Awards. And we've chosen that day because it aligns with the World Investor Week. So the World Investor Week is usually that week, and therefore we decided we are going to commemorate World Investor Week as well as celebrate 30 years. So you will get your invitation. Yes, you'll get your invitation.
I want to sit among people who have money and they can issue to others, including government, of course regulated by the Capital Markets Authority.
Yes.
Now, 30 years, you've had ups and lows. What have been those outstanding moments or outstanding challenges that you faced through and some still stand up to today?
I think one of the challenges we've had is the minimum participation of people in the capital markets. And as you see, I told you that we are holding about only 241,000 in collective investment schemes that have been able to raise that 7 trillion. But imagine the population of Uganda, or even if you just looked at the working population, yeah, there's a lot more potential there. So, but the uptake has been low. You'll also notice that we have only 11 companies that are listed. So people have not yet appreciated that they can actually come to the capital markets to get money. Yeah, so that's the challenge that we have. And so because of that, then you have a challenge of what we call a liquidity challenge. So you will buy shares, but when you want to sell them for whatever reason, it might take you a longer bit of time to realize that sale because of the limited number of people who are participating in that. Then the other one as well is for the capital markets to thrive, they have to be real incentives. And those incentives have been coming very slowly. Yeah, and I guess that affects the development of the capital markets. Also, these Ponzi schemes that keep coming. Yes, the Ponzi schemes also kind of shed a bad light. And so people fear to come and invest with people because they have been beaten by dealing with people who are not licensed. And that's why now part of our campaign is to tell people that please strictly deal with persons that are licensed by the Capital Markets Authority. But maybe the other achievement that we've done also is government did give incentives around private equity firms. So now those private equity firms are exempt from taxes, and so we are starting to attract firms to come to Uganda to be able to facilitate the raising of money. So government has also supported quite a bit. Yeah.
Very good that we see government as supporting in that angle, but also urging Ugandans that, well, there's somewhere where your money. Now, another question similar to that. How safe, because Ugandans have money. Just like I told you that some even fear to register their businesses, thinking taxation, then discovering the source. As the regulator, how protected companies, people who purchase these products, as in people, some may not want to disclose so much of their, because you talked of a company must be formal for you to work here, but also some companies may not want to open up. How is confidentiality? How am I protected?
Okay, so when you come to the market, before you raise the money, there are certain steps or conditions that you must fulfill. So if you want to raise money, you must tell the public what you're going to use that money for. And therefore, you're going to be required to either have a prospectus or an information memorandum. So now, in that information memorandum will require that you disclose the type of business that you're doing, the risks that are in that business, and what exactly you're going to apply the funds for. Now, that is part of investor protection. We don't want people to invest in things that they do not know. And so even as you come and uptake these products, please ask questions with the people who you're giving their money. Because then us as capital markets, we will go and supervise and check, inspect, and make sure that the money was used for the purpose that it was intended to. And that if there's anything that is happening in the business, those who are invested in that business are kept informed. We will also check things around AML, anti-money laundering, and things like terrorist financing to make sure that none of that is happening within the people who you've given your money to use. So for us, our role is to make sure that the money is utilized for the purpose that is intended. If there's anything, any risk that has materialized, they need to inform you so that you're aware. Because as you know, investments has risks as well. So you must be aware that even as I put my money, there's a certain level of risk that you're taking. Even as any other business, there's always risk. So we always insist that these things must be communicated. Because if you don't do that and something happens, people will lose trust. And for us, we want people to be confident that as they bring their money, that money is going to be well managed, and because the sector is regulated. And then we also have, particularly for the brokers, we have what we call an investor compensation fund. So if you're dealing with a broker and something happens to the broker and your money is with the broker, it hasn't yet moved, say, to the person who you're investing with, there's a fund that will help refund that money of yours that is caught up with the broker. Yeah.
Well, allow me at this point to go for a short break. When we return, we are still looking at 30 years of Capital Markets Authority, understanding the role of this authority. What do they do as they are going to be celebrating 30 years of existence? Let's return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Uganda's coffee story is an exciting phase through the government of Uganda funded National Coffee Seed System Project, the National Coffee Research Institute, NACORI, and the policy guidance of NARO works with MAIF, Coffee Department, registered nursery operators, and farmer groups to deliver quality coffee seedlings to farmers. Introducing Next Wave, the next generation of coffee. Chituza Robusta coffee varieties with higher yields, drought tolerance, and resistance to diseases. As Uganda's coffee exports grow from 3.5 million to over 8.7 million bags, NACORI research is helping drive productivity, quality, and competitiveness. Beyond production, NACORI is unlocking new opportunities through coffee value addition, creating innovative products and higher incomes for farmers, processors, and entrepreneurs. By developing unique flavor profiles and world-class coffee innovations, NACORI is helping Uganda's transition from exporting volumes of coffee to exporting value. NACORI's innovations undergo a rigorous research process that makes them sustainable for the next generation. Drought-tolerant coffee varieties that are cultivated, planted in Uganda's drought-prone areas. NACORI, research, innovation, prosperity.
In Uganda, mornings don't begin with sunrise. They begin with courage. One man, one factory that has refused to stay silent. With one spark of courage, a chain of prosperity begins. One Ugandan stands up, the nation moves. Pearl Bank, grow, prosper. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and many thanks for being with us on UBC TV. It is still Good Morning Uganda Extra, and I am with the CEO of Capital Markets Authority, Josephine Okwi Osia, and we are looking at 30 years of the Capital Markets Authority, understanding its roles and functions, and why actually you should not be left behind in this way of investing or finding where to pick money to use for investment. Now, CEO, let's also look more on access to these products, please.
So access to the products can be obtained through, firstly, licensed brokers and licensed intermediaries. Then the other point of access that I talked about is fund managers, the ICEAs, the Sanlams, the Britams. I think most of people, the Prudentials, all those different, and you find the whole list of them. There are about 13 or so on our website. You can also access products through those. I also talked about the banks. If you went to your bank and told them I want to participate in a bond, they'll be able to help you because we have dealers within, licensed dealers within the banks. These players also have digital platforms that you can use. So now, if you call them, they'll probably be able to direct you into which digital platform you can use. So you don't have to walk there all the time. You can set up and join through the digital platforms. We are also digitally, so we've not allowed technology to leave the sector behind. So we do use a lot of technology in there as well. But also you'll find agents. A lot of these brokers have agents as well as the fund managers. They have agents. So if you call them, they'll be able to come to you to be able to explain to you how you can actually now transact within the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now one would also love to know what are the benefits of participating in capital markets. I'm there in my business, I'm doing well. Why would I even think about capital markets?
So capital markets is a good source, first of all, to put money away for a later date. You all remember what happened in COVID, where businesses were shut. Some people had not prepared for that. So capital markets is a good way to put money, to save away money by investing. But the thing is that when you put your money there, it will earn money even as you sleep. And you mentioned that. Yes, you can earn, the money will be working for you. As you're still doing your business, there's more money working for you somewhere else. You're earning a return. So it's what we usually term as passive income. So the money will continue coming. But also, most of the time, this is one way to beat inflation. Because they're giving you a return. Most of the time, that return they give you will be higher than what if that the inflation will erode. So for example, inflation is now sitting at about maybe 3.6%, but you're going to earn like 10% on that money. So even if the time value of money goes down, your money still retains its value. So it's a good way to beat inflation. And then you use it for raising money for businesses. I think businesses like Akira Sugar have raised money through corporate bonds. Yes, even some of the banks have been able to raise additional capital through corporate bonds from the capital. The MTNs have raised money from the capital markets. Stanbic, Airtel, Quality Chemicals. Remember, Quality Chemicals used to be small, but look at how it has expanded. It got some money from the capital markets as well. Even the New Vision. So you will see that all these businesses are able to raise money. And as I told you earlier as well, even the SMEs, the deal flow facility that we had, has facilitated some SMEs to be able to raise money from the capital markets. And some of the smaller SMEs, I guess, which have been able to raise money. From there, we have most of them are in the agriculture sector, and what that does is it enables them to grow. And you know what growth means? It means they're going to employ more people. They're going to probably pay more taxes. You see, they're going to contribute to the communities. So all these things usually help. Those are the benefits of guys who come. And formalization is good. I know people fear transparency, people fear taxes, but formalization is good because then it opens opportunities for you. So do you want to hold 100% of 10 million, or do you want to own 10% of maybe 500 million? Because when you open up and bring other people into your business, they bring better ideas for you. You grow. Your return becomes much bigger than when you're operating small. And formalization also helps you to put your business in for what can I say, for legacy. If you look at people like, let's say now, Quality Chemicals, even after the founders have gone away, Quality Chemicals is going to remain on the capital markets. The grandchildren will benefit. Even the great-grandchildren will benefit. So if you look at other countries, that is one way to continue your legacy. Because sometimes you'll say, okay, I'm 100% owner, I leave it to my son. Your son doesn't share that dream with you. He sells the business. You see that. But coming to the capital markets invites other people in with better ideas and ensures sustainability and longevity of that business. And so your legacy lives on even after you've gone. So that's one, particularly for businesses, that's one of the important things that you can, that should attract you into the capital markets. And formalization helps that. And even when you're in the capital markets, because we supervise and regulate that your books are kept well, you won't have this situation of where URA just pounces on you and slaps you a bill because you are not keeping good books of account. Once you're keeping good books of account, URA will be able to come and check and say, yeah, these people have paid the taxes that they're supposed to pay because of the regular checks that we have, and you'll have auditors who will be advising you. So formalization in itself is not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing because it sets your business straight and you don't get surprises. Yeah.
Very important to note. Would you want to remain with your 10% on 100 million, or would you have to go for 10% on 500 million? Think twice before you shun formalization. Now, as we come to the end of this, what are your parting shots?
I think what I would like to communicate is say that capital markets story is one of growth, resilience, and transformation. Yes, so over the years we have improved the regulations. We are reviewing them to make them agile. We have encouraged innovation within the capital markets because we see ourselves as an enabler. We regulate all right, but we also want to enable market growth. We want to support businesses to grow. So with driving innovation, we are on that, and we believe that that is the way to go. Capital markets is also going to support the growth of this economy to the 500 billion economy that we want to achieve. Because to achieve that amount of growth, you need long-term capital. People who are going to give you capital for 20, 30 years to invest and turn it around and improve production, improve the GDP of this country, provide more jobs, generate more taxes. And that you can get very efficiently through the capital markets. It will help mobilize that money through different products, even up to the level we'll be able to mobilize money. We are able to mobilize money even from the diaspora through things like diaspora bonds or infrastructure bonds specific for infrastructure. And also, we have introduced the Sharia compliant, I forgot that. That's a very important one. A Sharia compliant products, the Sukuk bonds. Remember that our brothers in the Muslim faith do not participate in anything that has interest. They consider that haram. But government is going to do the first sukuk, so that increases financial inclusion even for that community that previously was not participating. All these initiatives that are happening in the capital markets are going to drive this economy forward. And I request everyone to come and participate. With your money, let's develop our country. It's our country. We will not go anywhere else. We'll never belong to another country. So we need to develop our country ourselves. And we have the money within here to develop the country and reduce our reliance on foreign support. So for me, I'm saying capital markets is the way to go. Let's raise capital through the markets. Let's grow and let's develop this country and let's realize economic transformation for Uganda.
Well, thank you so much. The CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Markets Authority, as they are marking 30 years of existence. Please make sure you participate not only in the capital markets, but also on the activities till the climax of this very day. Have the best of your day. May the good Lord bless you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible